Thinking we are live. It looks a little different now. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, it looks good. It's just like it's dimmer.
Huh.
I don't know. Technology. What are you gonna do? Okay, let me make sure this is recording. That looks good. Here comes the intro. You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic community development and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. What's happening, all you amazing listeners out there in podcast land? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the greatest podcast on the planet Earth. That's right, folks, the Grow Clinton podcast. As the introduction stated, we are a small nonprofit organization focused on economic development, tourism, and community development located right on the eastern side of the great state of Iowa, right along the mighty Mississippi River. As always, I am your host, Andy Sokolovich from Grow Clinton, joined as always by the lovely Jenny Home from our office. Jenny, what's happening?
I'll tell you what's happening.
Oh, that sounded aggressive.
All right, because right outside of our office is Andy's flag, his banner from being in the service.
For the and Scott finally has one now
too.
Do
you?
I guess
that's
I do.
It's
yeah.
outside of City Hall.
Oh,
Our hometown heroes banner,
yes.
which is something that the Downtown Clinton Alliance does in partnership with the city of Clinton. You can come into our office here at 721 South 2nd Street and meet with Megan Dove of the Downtown Clinton Alliance, and she will help you get a banner ordered if you want to recognize your loved one that served either in the military or as a first responder, police department, fire department, ambulance. So it's a really cool thing that we do, and then we just pepper the downtown area, about 14 blocks and all throughout Riverfront, with these amazing banners on the light poles. So
I
it's really
love
cool.
that. I love it. It's a great way to honor our veterans. And thank you for your sacrifice and service, both of you.
Yeah. Scott and I both in the Air Force. It's very rare that it's just two Air Force guys in the room. Usually we're just,
It's true.
There's a bunch of Army folks around us.
Yeah.
And then Councilwoman Eartha Davis
Yeah.
is also a veteran of the United States Air Force.
Saw that.
So there's a lot of them out there.
I love it. I think it's so nice. It's a great way to honor your vets. And I was driving from Tennessee to Iowa over the weekend, and I went through a small town where they had the same kind of a program, only the banner. I don't want to say anything, but the banners were really small.
Who are you going to say something to?
Well, you guys, the banners were really small.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's listening.
Yeah.
Obviously,
It's going to be that community
See?
that you drove through on your way to Tennessee from
I'm going to
Iowa.
hear about it now.
They're going to find out and call
No,
you.
But ours are big and beautiful, and
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm really happy with it. And also, we got this does come around, so bring it around. We got new signatures for our email, and Andy's picture. We got new pictures and headshots.
Yeah.
He's holding his military picture.
Yeah, we did something different thanks to Ari Leverins
Yes.
from Broccolo. She always corrects the way I pronounce it. But she is an investor in Grow Clinton. She's an amazing photographer and pictured the staff holding something that they were passionate about. So Jenny brought in what you bring, a record?
I brought in some vinyls and a cigar.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
And then we had Sarah brought in her dog.
Yeah. Oh, that
And
was so
she had
fun.
her dog with her in the picture. So it just kind of, it ties our professional photos into something that we value outside of the office. And I
Right.
think it's important to always connect with individuals that, we're not here all the time. We
Right.
have hobbies, we have families. So we want to tie that into our communications moving forward. So that's cool.
Fun.
You know what else is cool, Jenny?
High-speed internet.
Yeah. I mean, you know it. You love it. They're coming your way if they're not there yet. The Grow Clinton podcast is powered by Miles Communications. That's right, folks. Check them out. MilesTelephone.com. Again, MilesTelephone.com for all your high-speed internet needs. Also offering television and telephone services. MilesTelephone.com. Great show today, Jenny.
I know it. There's a landmark in town here that's just beautiful, and we have two people here who are taking great care of it.
Yeah, so located on the north end of town along 2nd Street as you enter the Lyons Business District, there was an old church. And what was it? Methodist, the United Methodist?
United Methodist.
And then we had some local investors get together and create a event center out of the space. However, on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., it still serves as a place of worship for Hope City Church.
Correct.
And the pastor is Nick Powell. But we have Kris in the studio along with Scott. Kris is in charge of booking events and managing pretty much everything. And then Scott is one of the owners. So Kris, tell me a little bit about the Church of Lyons.
Well, I think it's a beautiful place, and I'm surprised when we go somewhere, or like I signed up for the bridal fair and people didn't even realize that it existed. You know, they still think it's a church when they ride by. So we're trying to be creative and come up with a few different things. We just put a new sign up on the side, so hopefully that people can see that driving down 2nd Street. It's a great venue. What's so exciting to me is when you host a party, like last week, and we had back-to-back graduation parties, and there was probably 500 people through there in 2 days, and
Wow.
they are just amazed at the beauty of it all.
Yeah, it is the historical significance of the building itself, but the interior is amazing. Scott, would you share some of the upgrades and some of the things that you retain from the original design and feel of the church?
Sure. I think one of the most noticeable things that we retained is the bell out front.
Yes.
So they originally wanted to take that with them when they were selling the church, and it was kind of a non-negotiable for us when we bought it, because the bell does have a lot of significance. And the tower is not there anymore, obviously, but having that there, and if you go into the church, there's some history pieces on the wall, so you can see the history of the bell. I don't remember do you remember what it says it cost? It was like $300 or something
wow.
like that for that bell way back when they commissioned it. So I think that was pretty cool. As you go inside, when we first got there, obviously there was pews and it was carpet in the main chapel
I remember
area.
that.
So
Green carpet, wasn't
yeah.
it green?
Yeah.
We ripped that up and then restored the original hardwood floors that are in it, which gives it kind of a real classy look. We left kind of I don't know, what would you call it, around the stage area. There's like some guard or rails or whatever,
Yeah.
the original that we left that.
Communion, they actually still use that for communion cups.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
That's
kneelers
nice.
or
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was good. And then we exposed some of the brick. We took some of the wall out. It was kind of like there were some damaged portions there. And we kind of looked at it and we're like, well, let's just see what's behind it. And we did. And we have 2 sections there where we took some of that brick out, and it looks really nice.
Because it was just like old plaster that was covering it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we did some little bit of repairs on the brick and things like that. But other than that, I mean, the stained glass windows are beautiful. If you go in there in the daylight, and the windows are just absolutely amazing. When we were doing the painting, I wasn't really sure on the color. And then when you see it with the light and all that stuff, it makes sense why the color is the color, because it really pulls out some of the different details in those. So those are really the main things that we kept that were, historically significant or important to the building itself.
Sometimes you go into excuse me, people will purchase a church or a historic site like that, and you go in and you think, oh, it's going to look historic, it's going to be of the time, and they turned it into an event center that's not appropriate for the building, and it's disappointing. But this is it's gorgeous, and it has such a good vibe when you go in.
That's what attracts a lot of people for weddings, is they want that background, but they don't belong to a church or and so they get the best of both worlds with this, fitting that look that they want.
And it's such good quality, in Clinton, the older buildings, not that they're not now, but the older buildings with lumber barons, the quality is just amazing.
Well, you're seeing this a lot in economic development across the country as churches continue to consolidate. A lot of the smaller churches are going away, but the buildings stay, and the church, the congregation, or the church leadership can't support the cost of maintaining the building and utilities. So they eventually sell it for a reuse opportunity. But what a better reuse than an event center, especially since you retain the historical value and the beauty of the church. I had the luck of being in there when the floors were being redone, and they were laying the stain and whatever else you put over floors to make it all shiny. But I left with a little dizziness. I was in there for way too long without wearing mouth protection, so I wouldn't breathe in the harmful fumes. But
not your worst day, probably.
Yeah, not my worst day, but it is very nice. And then also downstairs, you've made some improvements as well, correct?
Yeah, that was mainly just like painting and flooring and things like that. We didn't do a whole lot of upgrades down there other than just kind of spruce it up a little bit.
And the elevator functions.
The elevator functions, yep. Certified by the state and all that.
So it is ADA accessible.
Correct. Yep. we have the kitchenette downstairs, which is kind of a unique thing too, because there's an oven, 2 ovens down there.
Two
still?
ovens.
Yeah, 2 ovens down there.
Refrigerator.
And a refrigerator and everything. So I know some people have actually used that to cook food down there for
Sure.
their wedding when they did it on their
Yeah.
own. So
yeah, what great thing.
and
Plug
then
in
there's-
some crock pots.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a nice room upstairs too in the back of the chapel area, so to speak, and that's a good area too to do a lot of things. I know we had my mom's birthday party up there a couple years back, and we use that as our food line area instead of having it out in the. We just had people kind of go through the door and head back there, and it worked out really nice. But there's a lot of ways I'm sure Kris can attest. There's a lot of ways to configure that room.
Yeah, brides use it to get ready. Set up a little
yeah.
mimosa bar and
Oh.
bring in all these mirrors, and then the hairstylist comes in and they use that to get ready all day.
Yeah, very
So
cool.
do you think about when you're planning these events and you're getting everything ready, does it cross your mind that you are a part of these great memories people are making? 30 years from now, they're going to go by and say they made it so special for us, and this is such a great place. We had such a wonderful time.
Yep, that's really the goal. I find myself getting nervous. Last weekend we had our first back-to-back graduation parties, and I get a little anxious because you just want everything to be right, and you want them to walk away going, "Oh, that was the best thing, best place to have a party."
Yes.
And so, we really try too hard to keep things clean and make sure that it looks presentable when they come for their party. So
Yeah. And then you also have microphone and speaker system in
Correct.
there. So nobody needs to worry about that. If you have a large group and you're hosting whether it's what's the dinner before the rehearsal dinner.
Rehearsal dinner.
Damn.
You worked that out yourself.
I know it comes to me every once in a while, and he gets it. Rehearsal dinner, or you have the wedding reception, and somebody needs to make a speech. You don't have
Correct.
to worry about projecting your voice, although the acoustics are very nice in that building,
Mhm.
being a former church.
people have even used it. They bring in their playlist, set it up for Bluetooth, and they have not even hired a DJ.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, very
So-
cool. Now the capacity is what, 200 to 300, depending on the setup of the room, to include
Correct.
tables and chairs. So I think 300 is like your max, right?
Pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$299 by
Yeah,
code.
actually.
299. So pick that last person out. So you
I
can
think
identify them.
I think it's probably a little less than that with all the tables
Yeah,
set up.
yeah.
I mean,
But it is a
Yeah.
comfortable space, and
Sure.
you can
Mhm.
put in a lot of people. We were there actually when Kirk Ferentz came and spoke
Yep.
during the dedication of the Duke Slater statue. We had the
Yeah.
event there.
That
It was
the
a
biggest
packed
event there.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
the food was great. And, it was easy to get through the food line and return to your table. And everybody was very complimentary of the venue
Yeah.
and how beautiful it was. And we have a lot of people that call our office consistently looking for a venue to host
Mhm.
events and weddings. I mean, we had just the other day, somebody called that she was living in California, originally from this area, left when she was young. However, her daughter has a desire to get married along the Mississippi River, and she's always been looking for locations. So we were able to share with her, based on our membership, a whole bunch of different venues, caterers, DJ services, things of that nature. So we always push our members first
Mhm.
and refer them as part of their membership. But it's so nice to be able to have a strong inventory to recommend to the outsiders coming in.
And this is a great spot because Kris and I were talking before we went on air here that sometimes an event center can just be too cold and too big. I mean, this is a great size for, a wedding. I mean, that church probably had plenty of weddings in it before, but
Mhm.
I mean, you don't want to have to always have too much space. It feels better, more intimate. And that's a great, beautiful
Yeah.
place to have it.
It's
that's
good for
one of the
pictures too.
Pluses,
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it's so cosmetically beautiful that you don't need all the extra stuff
Right.
to decorate with because it's got its own beauty.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
That's a good way of
The
putting it.
picture of Aubrey and her
Yes.
husband in the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
That's a good
stellar.
one. Yeah.
Stunning.
like
Mhm.
I hesitated on posting that, and I went to Cody because it's we don't want to encourage
No.
that, but it was such a beautiful picture. It's like, how can we not?
Oh,
Right.
it was
can we not?
beautiful.
Very cool. So if somebody's listening and they're like, hey, I want to check out this church at Lyons, what's the next steps for them?
They can reach us at thechurchatlyons@gmail.com, or they can
Call you.
Call me.
Yeah. Or you can find your Facebook page, just search
Correct.
Church at
Mhm.
Lyons,
Correct.
and you will find it. It is a picture of the church. So it's not too confusing to decide
Mhm.
which one is actually the Church at Lyons. So make sure you follow them, and all the contact information is on that page as well.
We're confused a lot with St. Boniface.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
Second Street? But they're not on Second Street though.
Or
No.
St. Boniface is on Pershing.
Pershing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you guys
St.
have-
Arnaeus is up.
Yeah. St.
Yeah,
Arnaeus.
that's right.
You guys have air conditioning, right?
Correct.
We
Yeah.
do.
Oh, that's important.
That's a big differentiator right there.
Mhm.
I actually did like some audio stuff for a wedding at St. Boniface, and I believe it was St. Boniface, no air conditioning, and it was July,
Ooh.
and it was insane.
Wow.
Like everybody left during the ceremony and was just dripping
Mm.
sweat. I mean, sweating through suit coats. It was bad.
Eek.
We actually had a wedding last spring outside.
Yeah,
They
that's
chose
cool.
to get set
That
it
was a
all
good
up
one.
outside.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
use the brick
Mhm.
church as the background and put carpet, rugs, and yeah,
Very
it was just
nice.
absolutely beautiful.
So it wasn't just like an audible. They planned that.
Yeah.
I'm laughing about that. Not laughing, but that picture of that you said of the bride and groom in the window. I'm engaged. And I said to my Steve, we need a picture like that. And he started laughing. He said, we're so old. We'll never make it up into that window.
Dial 911.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah.
Well, then we thought we
Yeah.
talked about, maybe we should make a little step stool to get up there. So
Yeah.
A lift, a chair lift.
No.
The elevator costs enough. We don't
Yeah,
need to
that's
make
right.
a chair lift.
right.
That's so pretty though.
Yeah, no, great jobs. Kudos to you, Scott. Thank you for your continued investment in the community and share that sentiment with your other business partners. But being able to see something that is just a church for sale and then be able to see the forest through the trees and identify there's an opportunity there to create a much needed event space here in community, especially in Lyons Business District. So we're very proud of what you guys have been able to accomplish. Kris, we know you do all the work. You don't need to sell it to us. I know the rest of the owners, and I don't even will question you if you tell me that, because they're not doing anything.
I'm not saying anything.
Doing
They're
anything.
They're not doing
she,
anything.
She does. She does a wonderful job. I mean,
One
you
owner
don't
makes
want to
us-
see my face when you come to show up
Yeah.
for your party. You want to
Yeah.
see her.
You want to see
right?
beautiful Kris.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One
It is
owner
fun.
forces his kid to mow the lawn. and, come on, he sits in the car in the air conditioning and
Hunts the horn,
ridiculous.
goes faster.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're all good
Oh,
people. We
gosh.
won't list the names, but they're all good people, and I am proud of all of them for their accomplishments. And it is cool to see local community people that have left for a little bit, came back to the area, see the beauty that is Clinton, Iowa, and are willing to invest their own funds to make sure that we have options like event space and things of that nature. And it's just one thing they always teach us in economic development, every course that you go to, and this is true, and I've experienced firsthand, is often communities will bend over backwards if somebody comes in here in a fancy suit, wingtip shoes, and a briefcase from California, and they want to do something. We as a community will often bend over backwards to accommodate that individual. However, if somebody local in the community wants to do something, often people aren't as excited about helping them because they know them. And
I don't get it.
that's not the way it should be. We should be
No.
willing to support local development first. And then
Mhm.
I'm not saying you grill the outsiders, because we always need OPM, other
Mhm.
people's money, and
Right.
outside influence to inject new wealth into our community. That is economic development. But you really got to give a round of applause to those people that have been here, lived here,
Mhm.
invested in the community, grew their family here, educated here, and now are putting money back in to make it even a stronger quality of life for their children.
And think outside the
So,
box. I mean,
yeah.
these people are like, what can they bring here, for people to participate in and have fun and
Right.
make people stay here. And,
Yeah.
it's just the creative minds that have a business background or
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, and it's people like you who do this type of thing that are from here, but still see the potential and still have that hope and, still want to give back to the community. And I don't know about you, but when I found out who bought the church and what they were going to do, I was like, yes, success. That's going to be,
Success.
there has no other way to go. It's just going to be successful.
Yeah, it's and even that young lady that owns the Moxie on Main,
Oh, yeah.
that coffee shop.
Yep.
is my wife. Every single one of the drive-through coffees, Deanna's, Brent's, she just does this like
She's
revolving
hitting 'em.
you got a
thing.
favorite. I just
Yeah.
Ugh, just everywhere. And the thing about it is I pull up to all of them and the people know me and they're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, are you getting your wife's drink? And I'm like, yes. They're like, okay, it'll be right. I'm like, I didn't even order yet. They're like, you don't need to. We have it memorized. So she goes all the time. But I was over there the other weekend and I was in the drive-thru at Moxie and I looked to my right and very creative idea. They took an old horse trailer that was in still good condition and they converted it into a trailer where they sell coffee out of.
Oh, smart.
But it looks, I mean, I never saw somebody take a horse trailer
Mhm.
and make it look that cute and attractive.
Yeah.
And I don't think it smells like horses in there anymore.
Well,
but
there
it
are
was,
rules.
It was
so-
really cool. And
Yeah.
I was like, kudos to you guys. That's really thinking outside the
Yeah,
box,
that's a
taking
Great
something
idea.
that was probably relatively cheap buy,
Mhm.
you know, an old horse trailer. There's not much you can do with it and convert it into a
Right.
mobile coffee thing. So
So how did you guys get together and say, how did that happen? You look at the church and you say, you know what? That'd be a great event center. Is that how it happened?
I got a phone call and said, I need you to come to this address.
This sounds sketchy.
No, I'm kidding. No,
probably a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah.
yeah. So Cody had reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in this idea that he had, because he saw that the church was for sale, and we ended up going up and looking at it. And I don't know how long we were in there, probably an hour or two, just kind of standing there like, what could you do? What would this look like? What would that be? And we kind of a relatively quick decision.
Yeah.
And we just kind of were like, all right, we're going to give it a shot. And we pulled the trigger and then closed on it and the work began. You know?
Wow.
So it wasn't like a crazy cool story or anything. It was just kind of like, what can
But
you do with this? Oh, well, you could probably do this, or this. And I don't think, and I don't want to say this in a bad way, but I don't think it's reached its full potential yet.
Mhm.
I think there's
Right.
still more to come. Like,
Still
we're-
growing.
it is
Yeah.
growing, it's building, and Kris does a wonderful job attracting folks and getting them in there and doing that. I think there's more that we can do with it. We just got to get to that next level. So just keep a lookout, because there'll be more to come. So,
Can't do
Great.
it all at once.
Well, Kris, Scott, thank you so much for joining us on this 123rd, 123
Wow.
episode of the Grow Clinton podcast, recorded on this 29th day of May. We are already through May.
Come on, man.
That went quickly.
It really
like,
did.
disgustingly fast.
Wow.
It was
I
just
don't,
May Day.
It was
Yeah.
just Mayday.
Wow. But continue the great work. Again, if you're looking for information on the church at Lyons, be sure to check them out on Facebook. Just search Church at Lyons, or you can email the church at lyons@gmail.com. And then also within the show notes of this episode, we have included Kris's cell phone number, I believe. So give her a jingle too. Go ahead and book the venue and thank her for all of her hard work and the ownership. You know, it is what it is, right? Kris keeps everything together.
One happy team.
That's
There
right.
you go. Teamwork.
All right. I want to thank Miles Communications again for their continued support of the Grow Clinton podcast. Without their high-speed fiber internet service, this broadcast would not even be feasible. So thank you to Miles Communications. Check them out at milestelephone.com. Jenny,
Yes.
it's not Friday yet.
Nope.
It's my Friday, though.
I know, because you're going to be
I'm
Golfing.
I'm golfing. Other duties as a son, you know,
rough.
comes with the job, Kris.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Don't judge. No.
I'll be there too.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow's the Kiwanis
Kiwanis.
golf outing. We're very excited about that over at Valley Oaks. Kris Klon does a great job keeping that course looking beautiful, and I'm sure it looks stunning this time of year while we're still getting some rain. It's
Right.
always nice and green until we move into the late July, August months where we get a little bit of a drought here in the Midwest. But he does a great job keeping it well mowed, and no doubt the greens will be fast because that'll be my excuse for every putt that I make.
Every single one.
You know how many times I have swung a golf club this year, Jenny?
I don't know. Maybe one.
Zero.
Zero. Less than I thought.
This will be my first outing of the season. So I'm just going to yell 4 when I arrive, and hopefully that applies to all 18 holes. But no, I do all right. I'm not, golf is one of those things where you have to be consistent. Like Scott, he golfs a lot. And, do you take lessons, or you did take lessons or
I
something?
did. Yeah. Once in a while, if I'm not feeling good, I'll get a lesson.
Yeah. So his
Wow,
son, his
tune up.
oldest son,
I got a guy.
his oldest son's better than I am because he goes out there in the
Yeah.
yard and hits a couple golf balls. You let him hit on their grass?
Yeah.
Is he putting divots in your grass?
He does a little bit, but small price to pay for hopefully a bright future.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the tour.
He's going on the tour.
Yeah, we go over to the
Church.
the
Yeah.
church lawn and hit a lot too. So
It's funny. We all live like within a stone's throw of
Yeah.
each other. So I live on one side of the Arboretum. Scott lives on the other side of the Arboretum. And then there's like a dozen people that I know between 8th and 14th and 18th.
That's
And
fun.
it is fun, but you try to go out for a walk. And then you ever been walking your dogs and you have your earbuds in, you're like into a song or a podcast, and you just see out of your peripheral like a car pull up slowly and stop next to you. And you're like, who is this? And I would look over and they're like, hey man, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm skydiving. What's it look like I'm doing? I'm walking.
hey,
Yeah.
I know the value of your exercise time, so I try not to bother you too much when you're walking by. It's like a talk as you
Yeah.
go thing. You know?
Can't help
I
it.
wave at you.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman who lives on 18th that I have to watch out because if I do engage in a conversation, I
That's
will
it.
be there for hours.
Right.
So, all right. And Scott probably knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody. This is Andy Sokolovich, President and CEO of Grow Clinton. Stay tuned for more episodes as we'll be coming to you with episode 124 featuring.
Ooh,
I don't even know who's coming up next. It's always something awesome.
dang.
Yeah. Either way, stay
My
tuned,
brain
folks.
stopped.
We'll see you later. Stay classy. Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya. All right, let me cancel these lives.